Unlocking Nebula and Black Ops 6 zombies is by far the most challenging camo grind we've ever seen in a Call of Duty game to date. The sheer amount of critical kills required on each weapon alone will have many players, myself included, thinking twice about attempting to unlock Nebula. However, if you're up for the challenge, stay tuned because in this video I'll be giving you the ultimate guide to unlocking the Nebula Mastery Camo in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 zombies. From the fastest way to hitting 2,000 critical kills on each gun, to the most efficient way to unlocking the Opal Camo, I'll cover it all and more. Before we get to the video, I'd like to mention that I did not use any invincibility or pile-up exploits that were in the game during the first week of launch. I know a lot of people used these glitches to help make the camo grind easier, but because I knew they'd get patched quickly, I did this grind 100% legit so that I could give you the easiest, most accurate information possible for months to come. So if you find anything in this video helpful, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, as this literally took 6+ days of in-game time to complete. With all that out of the way, let's get into the guide. Right off the bat, it's important to note that Treyarch has changed the way that weapon leveling and camo progression works in this year's game. For the first time ever, you can start making progress towards unlocking camos before your weapon is fully leveled up or even unlocked. Additionally, any blueprints that you have of a weapon will always be unlocked, even after prestiging. Although it's still a marathon to unlocking Nebula, these two changes make it so much easier to chip away at your camo challenges no matter what stage of the grind you're on. The first set of challenges you'll face this year are the military camos. The military camos require you to get 2,000 headshots on every single bullet weapon and 2,000 kills on weapons such as the Sigma and knife. This is the most daunting task you'll face, as in the entire grind in total, you'll need 58,000 critical kills with bullet weapons and an additional 8,000 kills with the RPGs and melees. The absolute best strategy in knocking out these kill requirements is to take a trip to Liberty Falls. For the first 9 to 10 rounds, you'll want to either stay in spawn or move to the bowling alley and rack up as many kills and as much salvage as you can. Once round 10 hits, make your way up towards the church and throw a grenade at the right part of the bell tower. If done correctly, the grenade will explode a zombie head, causing it to rain zombies, which will drop additional salvage, essence, and even an ether tool depending upon what round you're on. The reason I suggest you wait to move to the church and do this Easter egg until round 10 or after is because on round 10, the ether tool changes from green to blue, allowing you to upgrade your weapon to blue rarity, saving you 1,500 salvage you can almost immediately put towards upgrading your gun to purple rarity. You should also have enough points to pack a punch once, making most, if not all, of your guns viable at this stage. Once you have your gun pack a punch level 1 in blue rarity, hang around the church for a few rounds and continuously break the ether crystals that are inside of the church. These drop you a ton of salvage, which can be used to further upgrade your weapon faster, which is really helpful for some of the more garbage weapons. Once you've gotten your weapon to pack-a-punch level 2 in purple rarity, I'd suggest training in either the bowling alley or on the roof of the Alamo for the remainder of your game. There's advantages and disadvantages to both areas, which we'll now go over, but pick the one you're most comfortable with after I detail both of these spots. The first one we'll talk about is in the bowling alley. The biggest advantage you have in the bowling alley is that it's a nice open space, which for the most part you can hoard up the zombies. Additionally, as long as you don't go up towards the front of the bowling alley, the abominations that spawn will rarely ever come in and attack you while you're hoarding up the zombies. This pretty much gives you the opportunity to solely get zombie kills for the first 30-ish rounds, with the occasional interruption from a mangler or two. Now, the biggest disadvantage to the bowling alley strategy is that once you get into the 20s and especially the 30s, manglers will spawn, making it much harder to train up the zombies because their cannon blasts will not only target you and do some damage, but also knock over the zombies it goes through, really messing up your train. This makes it really tough to get any continuity going in the later rounds, which can be extremely challenging if you're using weapons that don't deal as much damage. If the bowling alley strategy just isn't for you, I'd suggest moving to the roof of the Alamo. Although there's a few obstacles in your way of training, like the zombies spawning from the window and the skylight windows, it's a much more open space where the manglers can't disrupt your training as easily as the bowling alley can. The biggest disadvantage to the Alamo strat is that abominations can spawn and will attack you every couple of rounds, which isn't as big of a deal in the early rounds because they're easy to take down, but it gets extremely annoying in the higher rounds. Whichever strategy you choose to use is up to your personal preference, however, the goal remains the same, which is to get as many critical kills as possible. With most weapons, they'll really only be viable for the first 30 to 33 rounds before becoming unusable, so you really have to maximize your crit kills in the low rounds. Deadshot Daiquiri is also only available through the Wonder Fizz machine on this map, which means you can't purchase it until round 25 unless you do the soup cans target practice Easter egg outside of the map. For most weapons, this honestly isn't even worth it because you have to bring in a 4x scope, which really makes it hard to kill the zombies. But if you're dead set on getting Deadshot, here are the two augments I personally use to make Deadshot the best it can be for critical kills. The first is the major augment Deadhead, which further increases critical damage, and the minor augment, which is Dead Break, which increases damage to armor plates. Honestly, neither of these are really needed in the low rounds, and simply upgrading your weapon's rarity and pack-a-punching it can get you into the 20s effortlessly, but in the mid-20s when half of the zombies are armored, Deadshot really becomes a necessity to stretch out your games. If you're focusing on headshots the entire time, it should only take about 2 games to 30 in order to meet that 2500 critical kill requirement. However, 2 weapons change from firing bullets to firing explosives when pack-a-punched, which makes getting the headshots impossible after upgrading them. The first weapon is the GS-45, which turns into the Sally pistol when upgraded, and the second is the LR-762 sniper rifle. For both of these weapons, you have to run the same early game strategy we talked about earlier. However, once the weapons fall off, you have to restart your game and do it again. This can get extremely tedious, as you can only get about 200 kills before the weapon really starts to suck, so if you don't want to keep resetting, I'd suggest buying another gun and switching to either the GS-45 or LR whenever you get an insta-kill, or take advantage of any killjoy gobblegums you may have built up. Again, there's no real trick to these, you just have to chip away and grind them out. Once you complete the 2500 critical kills on a single weapon, you'll unlock the special set of challenges. We aren't going to spend too much time going over them here, as most of them are really simple and self-explanatory. Although a couple weapons have a challenge to get 300 kills with a certain alternate ammo type equipped. For these, all you have to do is have the ammo mod on your weapon. You don't actually have to trigger it for the kills to count. Before we move on to gold, I did notice that the hipfire kills for the special challenges on the GS-45 are bugged, so they don't count if you upgrade the weapon, so make sure you're not using the pack-a-punch Sally to get those kills, otherwise they won't count. The first set of mastery camos you'll be tasked with unlocking is Mystic Gold. The Mystic Gold camo challenge unlocks after getting both the military and special set of camos done on your weapon. The challenge for Mystic Gold is to get 10 kills rapidly 15 times with your weapon. Pretty tough to do in the first few rounds because not many zombies will be spawning in, so I suggest pack-a-punching your weapon and then attempting this challenge. It's really not that hard at all, just get those rapid kills and you'll be off this challenge rather quickly. Once you've unlocked Mystic Gold on every single weapon in a class, the next Mastery Camo challenge will unlock, which is called Opal. To unlock Opal, you'll need to get 30 special zombie kills with your weapon. As of right now, the only special zombie in either of the maps is the Mangler, and they really don't spawn very frequently until round 30 unless you're in a co-op match. This challenge takes almost as long as the 2500 headshot requirement, which is actually insane to me. There's 2 ways you can knock this challenge out efficiently. I would personally suggest getting an entire class of weapons to gold and unlocking the Opal challenge before working on another class of weapons, and here's why. Many of the weapons in the game can be bought off of the wall in both maps, so for example, if I unlocked gold on every single SMG in the game, I could bring the shotgun in as my loadout weapon and start working on the headshot requirements for the shotgun. As I progressed through the map, I would pick up an SMG off the wall and switch to it to take out the Manglers that spawn. This way I'm chipping away at the headshot requirements for one gun while I work on the Opal challenges for another. I promise you this is the way to go because it will save you so much time in the long run when grinding these camo challenges. In solo matches, 4+ Manglers begin to spawn after round 31, so if you work your way up there getting the headshots on one gun that you need, by the time that gun is completely useless, you'll have the Opal challenges done on your other gun that you were working on. Again, it takes a lot of micromanaging to keep up with both the salvage and essence needed to ensure that both guns will be viable on the high rounds, but a trick to make this a little bit easier is to whittle down the Manglers to low health with your main weapon and then finish them off with the weapon that you need Opal on. Your second option for knocking out the Opal challenges is to build the jet gun as quickly as possible and use it to speed through the low rounds to get to round 31 when the Mangler spawn picks up. I wouldn't recommend doing this strategy unless you don't have any other weapons to get kills or headshots with, as I can't stress this enough, you have to multitask guns during this camo grind to get them done as quickly as possible. My last tip for unlocking Opal would be to use the Shadow Rift ammo mod. Shadow Rift teleports the zombies into the sky and drops them, causing them to die on impact with the ground. This actually works on the Manglers too, and it does count towards the Opal challenges, so definitely use this ammo mod when doing the weapons that deal little damage in the 30s. Once you've unlocked Opal on all 33 weapons in the game, the challenge to unlock the Afterlife camo will become available. Believe it or not, the challenge for Afterlife is actually the easiest one in the entire grind. All you have to do is get 20 kills without taking damage 10 different times. I found the easiest way to knock these out was to go into the bowling alley on Liberty Falls on round 2 and then train there until I had enough points and salvage to pack-a-punch and upgrade my weapon rarity. You can also buy stamina up here to help avoid the zombies a little bit easier. If you don't get hit at all, you can have this challenge done by round 10 for each weapon except the melee weapons. The melees are really tricky, but the best way I was able to get them done was to climb up on the Project Janus tanks that are around the map. The zombies can't actually jump up onto the tanks, they have to climb up on them first, which should give you enough time to take them out before they can climb up and claw at you. It might take about 15 to 20 rounds to get these done though, especially the baseball bat, because it very quickly becomes a 3-hit kill. Upgrade and pack-a-punch like normal though, and you'll be done with these in no time. After unlocking Afterlife on all 33 weapons, we've finally made it all the way to the pinnacle, kind of. Alright, so Nebula doesn't actually unlock on all guns right away. Another challenge appears, and God, you have to get either 10 Amalgam kills or 10 Abomination kills to unlock Nebula on that weapon. There's no cheesing this. You either have to play to a really high round or multiple games into the 20s just to see enough elites to hit that 10 kill mark. I would suggest doing this on Terminus, as 2 Amalgam spawn every once in a while in the 20s, whereas only 1 Abomination will spawn every couple of rounds on Liberty Falls. If you research Shadow Rift, one of the augments called Big Game will allow you to trigger it on elites, making them much easier to kill, and just like the Manglers, it counts towards Nebula. The Nebula challenge should have definitely been only 5 elites, as it takes forever to rack these guys up, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Once you get the elite kills, Nebula unlocks on a weapon by weapon basis, meaning you can pick and choose which guns you want to unlock Nebula on, rather than having to do all 33 weapons to unlock the camo universally. This is actually really nice so that people that don't want to unlock Nebula on the baseball bat don't have to. However, there is a calling card for getting Nebula on every single gun, so if you're a 100%er, you're going to have to do them all. All in all, Nebula is the longest and most mentally challenging camo grind I have ever done in any Call of Duty game ever. Thankfully, Treyarch made it so that you can start chipping away at the crit kills right away rather than having to level up your guns, but it still took me like 4+ days of in-game time to knock out. Nebula is an extreme grind to unlock, but it's very rewarding, as both the Afterlife and Nebula camos are 2 of the best mastery camos we've ever gotten across multiplayer and zombies. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, again, please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, as it really helps these videos perform in the YouTube algorithm. Also, stay locked to the channel for more Call of Duty Black Ops 6 content. I hope you all have a great day, and remember to stay hydrated.